Hi again. I want to tell you about my husband's perfect death, because here at the Radiance Center, we're teaching people how to live every day, every moment, loving. But what I didn't realize is that my husband was teaching us how to die. And so I'll just say that he was exposed to Agent Orange when he was in Vietnam. And when he came home from Vietnam, they gave him, I think it was 3 years to live or something, because the Agent Orange had destroyed his nervous system. But somehow we found purpose in living. It was so worth doing that he stayed in his body. So over maybe the last 5 years, when he was in his 70s even, it got more and more difficult. He just couldn't quite remember things. He didn't have the energy to go out and garden. He didn't, he couldn't quite figure out what his purpose was. But if people connected to him, that was a whole different thing. If the people on his dialysis team who came here and kept him alive for an extra 1.5 years, they didn't let it be a problem that dialysis was painful and intense, and why would one stay in a body when you had to go through that? Instead, they played music and they watched movies, and they loved each other to a degree that I couldn't imagine. But it was becoming clear that he was losing more and more of his grip on life. And then the last 4 days before he died, all of a sudden he was passionate and he was telling everybody all these stories, not only about himself, but about their childhood and how did he even know that? And he was just having more and more fun. And then the last night before he died was my Sunday night class. And he sat there and went around the room of 30, 40 people and told them what he loved about them and how good his life was. And then we went upstairs to go to bed. And as we always did, we sang to each other like we did every morning and every night of our 51 years together. We sang. And then he told me that it was the best day of his life because he felt like he had learned how to love completely. And then he told me what he loved about me. And then he said, you know, my wildest dream is just to fall asleep next to you. And so he went to sleep in my arms and he died. And it was so beautiful. I woke up and, you know, his mouth was open and he wasn't breathing. And first I went into shock. It's like, oh, if I just shake him or, you know, do this or that, he'll come back into his body. But then I got to see the perfection that he had died when he felt so complete and so happy. And so we took him downstairs. He wanted to be, he wanted to die and be buried naked. And so we took him downstairs naked, put him in the center of the room and covered him with flowers so that nobody could tell he was naked. And for 3 days, people came and said what they loved about him. And it was just a spontaneous, constant state of awe and gratitude. So I am so grateful. I didn't have to do much grieving at all because we had completed. We had done everything he wanted. We had finished everything together. It really was a perfect death.